Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all back. Yes, back to playing a little bit of Future Redeemed while I am telling you my story of how I got to discover the Xenoblade Chronicles series. Now, looking on my second screen here, I was thinking of maybe doing a live stream format for this one first, but I think I would have become too distracted from time to time. Like originally, what I had planned to do is I have written down a script. I have talked about this video here for a very long time. I think I mentioned it for the first time when I was doing the Out of Bounds video for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I think. And this was quite a while ago now. I think 1.5 years, if not even slightly older. And I've never gotten to it. Now, you might be wondering, why is that the case? Because it's a big video. So I have the script here on the second screen open up, which, believe it or not, this contains 7 pages of script already. And guess how far I've gotten, story-wise, explaining things. Like one of the last sentences was that Charla was added to your party. This is very early on. And I thought, dude, this is... I'm not even sure how many people would be interested in that. Because this would be a massive, massive video. So what I thought up then instead, because we're also rather close to the release of Cross Definitive Edition, and me having 100%ed Xenoblade 2, Torna, the only games I haven't 100%ed are the first game, because this is straight up impossible, and Cross, because I wanted to get to Cross on the Definitive Edition, and, well, Future Redeemed. So this is what I was intending to do. Playing this game here while I'm recording this video and just talk about my experience with Xenoblade. Like, you don't believe what I've written down in my script. You know how I started this video? Did you ever have that feeling? This indescribable feeling of awe, to the point where your breath even stops because you want to experience that one moment with every sense of your body? Capture it, feel it, memorize it. You may not experience something like that ever again. Imagine this could be you standing, oh, this is actually perfect. Standing on a tall mountain, being able to look many kilometers in every direction. Then you look over to a city. Everything looks so small and almost insignificant. But you know that this is obviously not the case. There is so much to unpack there. Culture native to that city. The people living there and the many stories all of them could tell you. People just like you. Who could also stay on that mountain and think the same thing? Or maybe not. But then imagine it being night. The moon and the stars are out. You're looking into the sky thinking, yeah, a lot of shining stars. And then you think that all of them are actually stars. Massive ones. Million, billion times bigger than even our own sun. Million, billion and trillion, not even kilometers, but light years away. Looking at the moon through a telescope, then at some other planets in our own solar system, it looks so massive up close. Celestial bodies drifting in the emptiness of space. You're getting chills. Once again, you find it hard in that moment to breathe because of how incredible it looks and feels. And then you look at them without the telescope and they look so... you can't even see them anymore. So in the end, it's all just about perspective, right? All of our experiences and this whole universe and the whole world we live in, it's all about the perspective on things. This feeling is something that we have quite often when we are young, but kinda have less and less as we grow older, unfortunately. So having those rare moments is special, truly. Nowadays people tend to be rather judgmental. I'm sure that if I say that Xenoblade Chronicles changed my life in a way, there's going to be a lot of people saying that I'm over-exaggerating. It's just a video game. But that would be ignorant. The experience can be different for everyone. A certain situation in life could make you attached to something like a little rock, simply because it was gifted to you from someone important. or there being some deeper connection that only you can make or understand. The same thing can go for a song, a movie, some tool, a piece of decoration, a specific dish, or even a video game. And for quite a few of those, there is one common thing they all have. They were creations by other people, and for something like a song, a nice meal, or even a video game, there's something that makes them maybe even more special than they already are by itself. Something that you can really feel when it is done with that in combination. And that is passion. There's something about people that create things they are passionate about. It is truly a beautiful sight. You can feel that also in the end product. It feels good because they care about it themselves. I don't want to turn this into something... Okay, yeah. I don't want to turn this into a 2-hour video talking about philosophy and whatnot. I just went ahead and read everything, and this is just the first page. Yeah. So let's see what we have to do first, because not wanting to waste too much time here. So back in the day when Xenoblade Chronicles, the first game, was released on the Wii, I don't think I've ever heard about it. I mean, even going further back, I might have seen Cosmos in the past, where people talk about Xenogear, Xenosaga. I don't know, it was never in my focus, like I wasn't paying attention or was being really aware of these games. And I think also with Xenoblade Cross on the Wii U, sure, I have probably seen them, you know? Back then I was thinking that Xenoblade Cross wasn't even a Nintendo IP. Like, it was so out there for me when I especially wasn't that big into the gaming industry. Ah, well then. Time to get into the gameplay part again. I'm pretty sure that I was seeing it before and thought something that many people thought before. It's just one of those anime games that you see a lot nowadays. But let's be real, a lot of anime games aren't even that great. So I once again didn't really pay much attention to it. But the first introduction to the Xenoblade series, indirectly, was, believe it or not, I think this applies to most people, is with Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U. Man, I miss these cutscenes, not gonna lie. Bonk. Yes. But yeah, when I saw Shulk for the very first time, something that really caught my eye, essentially, instantly, was his sword. I thought having a Monaro that is altering your physical capabilities, this is pretty sick. And the design of that sword was also really cool, like. It's a light sword. And also with those, what looked like Japanese symbols in the middle. Also them changing every time you want to do something else. Like in the case of Smash Bros. Being faster, having more knockback or more damage output, I suppose. Like, I thought the concept by itself was really, really cool. But weirdly enough, I don't know, maybe it was just because I was younger back then, but I didn't even bother to look into it. Like, who's this character and where is he coming from? It was a little bit, it felt like the like Street Fighter or Tekken, where I just kind of... I know it's weird when I say that, but I just thought, yeah, it's part of Smash Bros, right? And that's it. I wasn't paying... Of course you had Pokemon and stuff like that, that was obvious, and Mario. But once again, I just wasn't paying attention to those things. I was rather ignorant myself. And I think it's somewhat unfortunate that I haven't played these games earlier. Man, this would have been the coolest thing ever if I really actually have gotten to these games. Yeah, well, just earlier, really. But hey, even then, I'm really happy that I've gotten to the series with the Switch, really. The Switch really opened up the possibilities here for me. Oh shoot, I've forgotten something, I'm an idiot. Yeah, they go above 100, if they have those. Ah well. In any case, then once again I wasn't really paying attention to the series. I do remember seeing Xenoblade on the 3DS. On the new 3DS. And I thought, you know, this is actually pretty sick. Seeing the footage and thinking, man, the new 3DS is actually significantly more powerful. For sure. I was just very fascinated by it. But since I didn't have a new 3DS and just the base 3DS, I wasn't once again paying a lot of attention to it. And then released Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Switch. And boy, I remember this absolutely. I've talked about it on the SparksOpus live channel regarding just the impression, for the first time impression that probably a lot of people receive online regarding the series. Because I received a lot of videos highlighting the, I guess you could say, the cringy parts of this game. Or also, of course, with the anime women and waifus and whatnot. And I thought that these videos were hilarious, but at the same time I thought to myself, okay, so Xenoblade is just about, you know, just quirky anime games. Something like with Genshin Impact, like, it also had gachas, so as someone who has never played these games or never looked too deeply into them, that was my first impression with those games. And it's also the reason why I can't blame those people who think that that's just what the Xenoblade games are about, you know? Like, I can absolutely see why people would think that, but boy, let me tell you one thing. Back then I was already in love with Mia. I thought, she's a pretty cool character. I really liked her. But I definitely didn't have any intentions to play this game. Especially because, of course, imagine playing this game with some of those characters also having those appearances, and then one of your parents comes in. That isn't exactly optimal if you're a kid. Well, not exactly a kid, but even then. You don't want anyone who's... if you're living with other people, and especially in a country like Germany, where I have this feeling that people are very judgmental of things. Especially things that aren't normal or usual. So yeah, I definitely wasn't intending to play this game anytime soon. But then at one point, of course, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition came out. And the trailers, and in general, I think the marketing for this game was quite solid. Because there's especially this one trailer where the theme kicks in from Prison Island. Yeah, this trailer definitely has sold me. And I was considering, hey, maybe I should give this game a try. Also, how the hell am I activating this thing again? The X reader. Why is it deactivated? Oh shoot, wait. Ah, now it's on again. Sick. I think what sold me the most was the fact that they also released a video where they used a free cam to hover over a lot of the areas for this game and also play music in the background. And there was this one comment in particular who told me, if you guys love great world building with one of the best stories ever created, and if you love video games, do yourself a favor and try this game. And you know, saying that this is one of the greatest, if not the greatest RPG ever made, those are some big words. But then there was this one day where this game went on sale for, unironically, I think it was just a month, 2, 3, it wasn't that long after release. And I gotten it for, instead of 60 bucks, I've gotten it for, I think, 33 euro, which, you know, that's a good deal, I'd say. For a remake, essentially. It's also the time where I thought, I think it was right after Xenoblade Chronicles, where I got so surprised that I went ahead and bought Astral Chain and Fire Emblem 3 Houses for also both 33 euro each. And this is where my adventure began, diving into smaller titles. I mean, of course, 3 Houses, would you consider it being a smaller title? But this is definitely not a game I would have played like normally. So yeah, when I started playing, I actually even took a week off from work, because I still had some days left from the previous year. I remember playing it on, I think in January of 2021. Bought it earlier, but actually gotten to it in January. I remember starting the game and then the first few minutes of it, which was the title screen. This was crazy. Like, I have never seen a title screen this beautiful before. I think I even teared up a little when the climax with the music. I was flabbergasted just how beautiful it is. What kind of game is that I'm getting myself into here? And also with that very first cutscene with the Bionis and McConnison with the zoom out. That was crazy. I was getting chills. And I loved the Shulk and Ryan from the very start, the characters. You know, with the smart kid and the strong hothead. A little bit cliche, but I thought that was cool. And being best friends and everything, and then Fiora comes in, and there's Dunban, and you know, all really cool characters. And I was very sure that I would enjoy the story of Xenoblade. One thing that had me a little bit worried though was the gameplay. Or maybe not the gameplay, but the combat. I thought the combat was a bit underwhelming. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure if I would enjoy this game that much. Because of the gameplay and combat part, it really didn't... I don't want to say it didn't sit right with me, but... It wasn't really that cool to me, just simple as that. But it was fine, it was manageable. The story alone and the music and the environments were the reason why I continued playing through this game. So for this very reason, I just continued on. Even though I was still thinking, maybe this game isn't for me, you know? Because heck, one of the first quests you receive is bring your boyfriend Shulk a sandwich. I thought, okay, man. I don't know. We'll see, right? I'm sure that things will pick up soon enough, quickly. What I wasn't prepared for is that all of a sudden there is an attack on our colony. People get consumed. Like, okay, this isn't exactly normal for a Nintendo game. I mean, they're getting killed pretty much. But then the attack sequence between Metalface and Fiora, and that was a really cool fight. And after Fiora went for that final blow, you know, going for that headshot, it didn't seem to work out as they hoped that it would turn out. And then this very slow, you know, with the music also picking up, with the core, with the opera in the background there kicking in. I was getting very nervous in that moment, thinking, hey, knowing Nintendo, they wouldn't pull that stuff, right? Right? They don't do such things. Killing off characters for good. And then the Shulk with that absolutely blood-curdling scream, and he just going for it, killing her off. I don't remember the last time I was that shocked from a moment, because of just how unexpected that was. They killed off a character that they just tried to, you know, make connect with me. They just killed her off and thrown away like it's trash, getting disassembled by the robots back there. And then Shulk's I'll kill, man. Adam Howden, dude. He was, and always will be an absolute legend to me. That was... I'm still getting chills right now just thinking about it. That changed it for me. That changed it all for me. I even looked up if this game is actually... Like, is it a Nintendo? Yeah, this is Nintendo exclusive. Monolith Soft, huh? Damn! Okay. And this is where... Man, my journey started, alright? I played through this game in a single week. That was the craziest video game journey I ever went on. Honestly, I don't even know where to start. This entire journey through Xenoblade Chronicles. Also, man, when the scene came up where Ryan was in danger, I thought he would be dead for sure. Though I was thinking, you can't pull that stuff, man. You can't do that. And then also with the badass moment where he then by the power of his will, unlocked the second Monado art and realized that he can change the future, man. That was... I was getting more and more hyped up by the moment. That was such a surreal experience. And honestly, the further I continue playing this game, also the moment in the Ether Mines, where Shulk is saving... Well, he was having a vision, try to change the future, but then it didn't work out as he planned it to do. And then Ryan saved him by almost jumping to his demise. That was nuts. With the music going absolutely crazy as well. Like, this was genuinely one of the most hype experiences in my entire life. This entire game. Entering then also Gaur Plains for the very first time. Well, no, not even that, right before it. With you being able to overlook the entire world, essentially, with the Mechonis on the other side. That was insane. Like, this isn't something you see that often in video games. Just having this insane, scale to that extent. This made me fall in love so much with these games. It ticked so many boxes for me. Especially because before Xenoblade, the series for all the lore and, you know, stories and world building, it was The Legend of Zelda for me. And man, I was always hoping that The Legend of Zelda would someday maybe go that extra step in terms of story, which they never really did. It is the main reason why Majora's Mask is my favorite Zelda game. Because the world building and the characters and everything, it feels so real and so... It's just such a good game. It is such a good game. It is truly an incredible experience. And thinking back at it and also realizing that nowadays, how many people complain about The Legend of Zelda and the fact that Nintendo doesn't want to do more story-focused, more lore-focused games, but that they at the same time say that Xenoblade Chronicles is an anime, quote-unquote, gooner game. What a bunch of BS, dude. At least I just eventually decided to give this game a chance. I think more people should give this game a chance, as simple as that. What an underrated series just in general. But yeah, it's just unfortunate stuff. It really just is very unfortunate. Xenoblade Chronicles, like I said, is everything I ever wanted out of a game. They improved the gameplay to no end. The world building is fantastic, the story and lore is fantastic, the music is fantastic. Like, of course, there is no perfect video game, but the Xenoblade games are for me as perfect as it gets. It saddens me just how much more successful this series could be if people just gave it a chance. I just think it sucks that people don't want to give it a try. People should wake up, man. Y'all are missing out. And I love the damage on Rex. This dude is crazy. Like, of course, also you can't forget the visuals. The visuals they get out of the system is, like, incredible stuff. I can't wait for what they will pull off on the next system, considering how much more powerful this system will be. The biggest problem these games have, just open world games in general, is the memory bandwidth and the amount of RAM. And this will be essentially a non-issue anymore with the next system, because from what we've heard, from the shipment data and everything, this will be a significant jump. We will get, like, I wouldn't be surprised if the next game will visually look comparable to Final Fantasy VII Remake. This will be insanity. Oh, that's still fine. Sick stuff. Beautiful. Look at the damage. Also, yeah, just the very concept of having visions mid-battle and then preventing them from happen. This is so unique. I think also, of course, the gameplay of Xenoblade, it is like a MMORPG, but it is still a very unique game. Like, I wouldn't even know what to really compare it to if we talk about single-player games. People also saying that all you do is just spam buttons and stuff. I think this is just a bunch of nonsense. You guys don't understand what you're talking about. Oh, look at the damage output here now. This will be beautiful. But yeah, from the very start to the very end, it was just a badass experience. And Metalface also as a villain was such a good villain. The reveal, and also the more or less pre-reveal on Prison Island. Man, the Prison Island encounter? I was sweating, the amount of adrenaline that it gave me, like, with the music and the reveals and the cinematography and Zanza and, well, Arglus in this case. And that's also the thing, what this game does so well is keep up this mystery. You're just having more and more questions. I was wondering, why are there humans there? Why don't they have any recollection of us? Why is Fiora in this case, even though she doesn't remember us, protecting us technically or doesn't want to fight? Why does it look like Zanza or Arglus in this case is the bad one? You know, those are just questions over questions. And they just wait until the very end where they just lore drop it all. I'm just thinking about it right now and I'm getting chills. This is incredible. This entire experience was so incredible. The fact that you're also traversing through... Like, it is pretty accurate. You're going from the leg up, from the arm and everything, on over the sword. And every time you look around, you know always where you are. It's always logical, right? Where you're located. And you can always see those titans. The overall just location also, like the, how do you say it? The fact that you're traversing on those titans, that was so hardcore. That was so sick. Like, the imagination that went into it. I had so much, and I still have so much respect for that. Coming up with these concepts and everything, I've never... I'm gonna say it so often, I have never seen anything quite like that. When it comes to video games, that is. Like, who would come up with the idea to pull that stuff off on a system? Especially, once again, on the Wii. This is a Wii game originally. This man, I was mind-boggled. Everything about that was just mind-boggling to me. Also, I'm just now realizing, Grandel? Grandel like on the Bionis shoulder? Shoot, I'm only now realizing that. Future connected. Look at those water physics visuals. With the lighting, this looks so good. This is some of the best looking water I have seen on a Nintendo Switch. Also, Alvis. Alvis, honestly, I would go as far as to say that Alvis is one of my favorite characters ever. I kid you not. Alvis is just in so many ways such a cool and badass and mysterious character, and so much mystery around him. Then he kicks ass with the Monado, him just unlocking casually another Monado art. That introduction was something else. My little beautiful hot anime boy. Like, damn. And Melia. Oh, Melia. Melia and Nia are both best girls, and boy, I couldn't be more happy at the treatment and the glow up they received in Xenoblade 3. Like, I was so happy to see them both. Clifftop, like Clifftop Bayan. Honestly, also regarding Ricky, I wasn't really... I don't want to say I wasn't fond of him, but I thought he would be more like the comedic relief, which he was, I mean, but I thought he would turn out to be more annoying throughout the adventure. But honestly, I liked him. And even more so, once you had those heart-to-hearts, also with Shulk, and him just being like a father figure almost. And him also just taking care of the party. Also him being the best healer. Dude, once I realized how busted he is, he was also rather quickly reaching 9,999 HP. And once I realized how good he is, I had him in the party. And never put him away from my party. Actually, now I'm wondering, what is here? Can I drop there from Zelmor's Falls? And of course...
Okay, we've arrived.
Oh, all the environments, man. Those environments. Magna Forest. Also with the blue... It's essentially a blue ocean hovering above you. And also with the slight glow. Oh, and also Satol Marsh. Man. Oh, this was such a magical experience. That was such a magical experience. Oh, I never went down here, huh? I never did, it seems. That's beautiful. Is that a Sylvalum reference? I think Cross is connected. A real boon indeed. Affinity growth, fantastic. So many AP, beautiful. But man, nothing compares to the next area, which was then Aerith Sea, which was essentially on that wing, on the back of the Bionis. That was just, I was overwhelmed. I was putting so many hours in this game. I was living a different life all that week. I was living in this universe. I was just waking up, then eating a little bit, and playing Xenoblade Chronicles. Honestly, before that, it has been a hot minute since I played a game that just pulled me in by this amount. Like, by this amount. I think that sometimes the game was foreshadowing a little bit too much. Like, it essentially spoiling that something is up with Alvis and Lorithia and Dixon. I think I tried to foreshadow it a little bit too early and too obvious that something isn't right there. But honestly, I can't even blame the game because of still being a slightly earlier JRPG. But still, it wasn't that obvious that you instantly had it all figured out. It was still all a big mystery, like maybe there aren't villains. And this is something that I really like. Wow. Something that I really like about the Xenoblade games. There is no real villain. Like, everyone has a backstory where you kind of just do have some empathy with the enemy. Not all of them, but a lot of them, you know. I like how they approach villains in these games. Now let me look up where I can find some Rule Rock. They can be found in Yesterdale. Okay. Well, I am in Yesterdale. I guess I'll just go ahead and try to freaking collect items and stuff. Oh boys, I'm so happy to be back. By the way, if you haven't seen it, Future Redeem was my very first live stream series that I also actually completed, like from start to finish. You know, if you want. They are still on the SparksOpus main channel, on this channel. Just if you're curious on my reaction. Though, of course, since it was still early, maybe not the best live streams you've ever seen. It definitely had quite a few issues to it. But maybe you'll still enjoy it. I hope you will. Woo rock! Yay! There's still one more I gotta find. I was also glad that they kind of forced you to play sometimes as other characters. With the High Entia Tomb, and you being forced to play as Melia. Because that was unironically the first time where I've actually played as her. And I didn't really understand it. I was just summoning elements and then shooting or activating them. That was it. And I thought, okay, I don't know. Oh, shiny. Nice, there's a second one. You can also see... I wouldn't say that I rushed Future Redeemed during the streams, but I definitely... If you start live streaming for the very first time, you kind of don't want to bore the viewers with things, and you want to have a nice pace. which is also the reason why I definitely struggled at the final boss a bit. But I was smart about things, and I think the Xenoblade Cross live streams were definitely a lot more enjoyable. So yeah, it's all a learning experience, right? But I have seen this one before. Imagine playing this game and not realizing what all of this is about, because either you haven't played the previous games or you have played the previous games but don't remember it all. That would kind of suck, no? Should we give it a shot? I mean, regarding also the final boss and Alvis just doing some magical stuff by imploding the Telethia, there was something about Alvis that he didn't tell us, and it had me quite curious. Alvis is a way bigger character than the game portrays him not to be. No, the game tells you that he's important, but not more important than, I don't know, the main party, I suppose. Even though by the end of the game you definitely know that this isn't the case. He's like the biggest character, technically. Honestly, I want Rex to do the maximum amount of damage. He's such a tank. Heck yeah. Your strength is insane, my boy. Where's double spinning edge? Boosts damage dealt by 8% while landing a critical hit? Oh, that will come in handy for sure. You will die even quicker now. On critical, ignores enemy's defense? Dear lord. If an ally is down, has low HP, deals 150... Increases critical rate by 20%? Man, this would have come in handy during the final boss, dude. 1% chance to instantly defeat an enemy at 30% or lower? Adds 100% chance for attack to be unblockable. For any attack. Boost critical rate. What kind of a beast? Man, this Rex is crazy. Also filling up the chain attack gauge quicker. Anywhere, what was I? The reveal then at Prison Island, right? With the Fiora reveal. Yeah, that was... I don't know what to tell you, man. That was everything I ever wanted. This entire story. There. It's the same thing, but just with attacks during chain attack, gain 100% chance to bypass defense. Holy smokes. I'm not even talking about the game anymore. Also, just seeing it right now. You guys love this? I love this. Those new wallpapers they did for Xenoblade Cross, all the new ones, there's I think 3 of them that they added. Absolutely beautiful stuff. And also something that you never really see in Nintendo games, and it just once again was something that completely caught me off guard, is that Fiora kissed Shulk. Well, no, the other way around. Shulk kissed Fiora. Of course it was for giving her some water that she can drink, but boy, that was a kiss. Come on now. Come on, bioluminescent Bob, son of a gun. You're trash. That's what you are. Know your place. Okay. He can also... Oh shoot. He can do that? But does that last for the entire... Okay, yeah, I'm cooked. Come on, you're able to break, no? No. I'm dead. Yeah, you know what? I refuse then. Is there really anything else to say about Xenoblade Chronicles, the first game? I mean, the environment's also inside of the Mechonis Peak, man. Absolute cinema. You've seen some of the footage that I've shown you in the Out of Bounds videos. Absolute beautiful environments. I do hope that they give those games, all of them, a little boost on the Switch too. Because those games deserve it for sure. They absolutely deserve it. Because being held back, only running in 720p. Heck, Xenoblade 2 isn't even running in 720p. It struggles to keep up even this resolution. Even though I would say regarding the overworld, yeah, Xenoblade 2 definitely looks the most impressive. If you've seen what I've seen, this game running in a much higher resolution, and a stable frame rate. This game looks really good, man. But when you hit the finale with this game and Shulk then being killed by Dunban and... Shulk being killed by Dunban. Shulk being killed by freaking Dixon. And then Shulk being revealed that he was dead from the very start. And that Zanza was his life force. And just all this back to back, all of them hitting you at the same time. That was... Dude, that was crazy, man. How dare you, dude? You have to be joking, man. Another affinity growth, unlock it. Nice. The thing is, there was one point. I have to tell you something. On one hand, I'm not proud, but on the other side, I'm glad that they included it. It was on a Sunday, right before I was supposed to be heading to work on Monday. And I wasn't leveled up high enough. And I started to struggle, I think, at the Dixon boss fight. Or was it? It was rather close to the finale where I started to struggle. And I didn't want to end. I wanted to continue to beat the game. And that's when I activated casual mode. I actually activated casual mode and then continued on to finish the game. And I was thinking, you know, if I'm already this broken because of all of the story and everything, I might as well try to finish it. And dude, oh, this game broke me on so many levels. When I finally have gotten to the plane of existence, the memory space where Zanza resides in, that was... You see, man, Jupiter and Saturn, they looked so good. That was crazy. I had never seen something like that before. Oh shoot, cool. And the final boss with that music and... I felt like... How am I supposed to live my life? To continue go to work tomorrow? And... just... yeah... what am I supposed to do with my life afterwards? I was a broken man for the next few days. I remember then beating the game, and then from 0 to 100. Like, once again, I'm getting chills just now thinking about it, how this game turned from from fantasy to science fiction. You have the real Earth, and a space station, and people doing some sort of an experiment that failed? Like, the experiment didn't exactly work out as they had intended it to work out? That was... How broken can a man be? How much more did you want me to break? This was one of the coolest moments. One of the coolest twists. I was never hooked more in my entire life. I thought I was playing video games wrong. I played the wrong games in my life. This was such a surreal experience. I've said it multiple times now. I am a very big fan of good stories. This was the greatest story I have ever experienced. This was... wow. Peak fiction. That was everything. Ah yes, the loot from Xenoblade 2. Who would have thought? Alright, we found this in the Black Mountains, didn't we? I do remember in my playthrough, though it's been a while, but yeah, I think it was in the Black Mountains. But this is something I also haven't really seen yet from video games, just straight up changing the genre. You playing a anime kind of fantasy-like game, but then it just straight up switching to in real life stuff. Just turning into a science fiction game. Who does that? And afterwards, I was definitely 100% sure on going after Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now, I did play Future Connected, and a lot of people are saying that it was disappointing and everything. But honestly, I thought it was just a nice bonus. Oh, by the way. There. Isn't that one hell of a wallpaper? It is beautiful, man. Oh, now let's switch to another beautiful one. They're all beautiful. But I thought Future Connected was just simply a very nice conclusion to it all. Just finishing the story. Also, I like the fact that it focused a little bit more on Melia as a character. And of course, I've completely forgotten Alva's turning out to be a god, and just the continuous reveal after reveal. Oh shoot, Tuvul, now I should be good to go for sure. Oh, I can build even more of them. I should talk to all of you people. You know, also after having played Xenogears now. That's Faye, alright? It definitely is supposed to be Faye. A reference to him. Also with his fighting style and everything. So yeah, regarding the second game definitely felt slow. The start of the game was very, very slow. Like, it felt quite brutal at times, but considering that this was still the Xenoblade Chronicles game, I just thought about, yeah, sure, I'll continue, and I'm pretty sure it will get good. I'm pretty sure this will get really good soon. And, well, something that I instantly fell in love with this game is the music. Like, the music in this game is outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. But I also instantly noticed that this game was way more anime in comparison to the first game. And also, well, there's Molduga. And also that the game was definitely struggling a lot with the frame rate and just the resolution. Like, what I definitely noticed is that the environments are way more impressive. The textures and everything and the visual effect, like, also from the lighting, this game looked rather impressive. But I thought then maybe they pushed the system a little bit too much. Because the resolution just couldn't hold up. Because I didn't know I had no idea about the development about this game and how it worked. But yeah, playing in handheld mode was, honestly, it kind of ruined the fun a bit. Because this was borderline playable. You couldn't even see their faces, that's how blurry it was in handheld mode. Then you activated or, you know, started playing a game like Breath of the Wild again, and it's way sharper. I think it runs at a native 720p, pretty sure. In any case though, yeah, the environments and the music were beautiful, and the story was very, very slow. But I just continued playing on. But the gameplay? The thing is, it instantly clicked with me. Like, from the very first battle, I figured out how to cancel the auto attack. And I also learned rather early on how it works with the elements and the levels. I don't know, it just instantly clicked with me, and I had so much fun with the gameplay. Like, the tutorials, there are no tutorials, they absolutely suck. But I think this was a massive step up. So I was happy to see it, you know. But what I found a little bit annoying, I gotta say, is that you had those billion blades that you had to unlock them through, well, gacha, pretty much. You have all those little billion of little side things you have to do, like defeat bosses, collect items and such. That was the most painful part of 100%ing this game. Don't get me started on Ursula, and Vess. Like, frick me, man. This was absolutely ridiculous. And also my suspicions were true, right? Oh shoot. Yeah, we will know its name, that's for sure. Or he will know our name. You will know our name. But yes. I didn't like Pyra's design. Like the clothes she's wearing. The same goes for some of the other blades in this game. Like, come on, man. How can you judge anyone thinking that this game is really just like one of those Genshin Impact games, on a first glance that is? I don't blame them. But yeah, but when it comes to the villains, dude, I fell in love instantly with Malos. Malos's voice actor, dude, freaking Devin Menken. Dude, and Jin and Nia, loved it. Absolutely loved them all. Nia, have you gone mad? Dude, what I would give to experience that for the first time again. The fact that there's actually a chance that Malos returns in the future, man, that would be something. I would be really happy about it. Why am I not switching back to Rex? He was my main. He was my main, you know for what reason? For that reason. And of course the double spinning edge. How could you forget that? Have I mentioned that I love video games? I love video games, man. I really do. I always did. Honestly, I would love to develop my own video game someday. I have an idea for a story. I always had an idea for a story that I came up with in my mind over many years. And I think this is actually also a rather good story. I'm quite confident in it. And you could probably also make a trilogy out of it. What I will also say about Xenoblade 2 is that I thought that the humor in this game was actually funny. I get this feeling that a lot of people think or say that it was annoying, but I think this game had genuinely hilarious humor. Even though it was really anime and stuff, but I liked it. And I don't watch anime. At least I'm not that much of an avid anime watcher like some other people, I suppose. I watched Beyblade and Pokemon back in the day. Also the Ghibli movies, though I talked about it in the past. Dude, Beyblade was hype though. I also remember Digimon, but I thought Pokemon were cooler, in my humble opinion. But also, for example, also, who went away there? The moment with Torna, for example, with the maid outfits and Poppy. I just thought this was hilarious. I mean, what can I say? Oh, shoot! Banger incoming! But honestly, I think... Also, for example, Rex, I think he receives way too much flack. I mean, after all, he's just a kid, really. So he had a lot of really dense moments. But I love Rex, man. Because he had such a good heart. And I know this is I'm jumping quite quite ahead now. But the moment at the end of the game where he was sitting at the table with Pyra and Mithra, he was telling about why everyone kinda turned on him, even though he just wanted the best for everything, for everyone. And him just breaking down and crying, that broke me. Like, I was tearing up, man, because I relate a lot to what he said there. I related a lot to what he said. And it made me really sad. If you just want the best for everyone, and on first glance this seems also the same way the other way around, but because you didn't perform good enough, or you ending up being useless to them, I guess, also in a way. Them just hating you for the decisions they technically made. I don't know, it's just... I don't know. I just felt so bad for Rex. I just really related to him. He deserved a lot better. But yeah, I unironically strive to be like Rex. being constantly optimistic, trying to make people happy. Like, of course, you can't make everyone happy, but you can try, right? Trying to create smiles on people's faces. Rex is a legend, man. But where my curiosity definitely sparked is when you approach the world tree and you also met Ophion for the very first time, which once again felt very science fiction-like. And it definitely caught my interest again, and I was thinking, okay, you know, I think there's once again, just like in the first game, there's more to it than the eye meets at first. Like, the world tree in general was also such an interesting thing, because I was kind of thinking that, yes, this is an actual tree. I mean, it looks like a tree, but there's something more to it, because with the, what is it, ether? Or the thing hovering around it? But you have, once again, a lot of these questions regarding the story and the world building and everything. Oh, the Titans also, essentially almost like planets circling the world tree. It was very interesting. Like, there was something more to it. Something, somehow. So last time, this one hurt me real bad. Not this time around, though. Let's go, Shulk. I'm about to do them with the Infinity Blade. Watch, watch, watch. About to spam A. Let's go! There's a big boy! No, Rex is dead. Come on, do this too, Glimmer. Let's go! Go after the portal! Right. Maybe I should have focused on the beasts first. When they introduced Van Damme... Oops. Ah! Some people were saying that it was kinda obvious that Van Damme was one of those characters who would die. But man, that wasn't so obvious to me. Oh shoot, wait a second. Ether Slide? Wait a second. Would you look at that? What I will say though is that the voice acting is rather mixed in this game, which is also not exactly something that a lot of people will disagree with me. Oh, dude, there's so many ether slides. And barely any ether. Uriah was definitely the most beautiful area in this entire game. Like with the Sophronia trees, them glowing like that. Like, yes! Absolutely. With the music also, it's still stuck in my head. What an absolute beautiful piece. I think what is also unfair regarding the second game is that a lot of people are calling it just Gunner game, right? But I think compared to all the other games, the overall just mood of the game is really depressing, sad. Also regarding the characters and the themes they also tackle. I just feel bad for a lot of the characters in this game. May it be Rex and his parents and him just having a very rough childhood. Black Crystal. Like, what, you want me to grind for that stuff now? I don't even have the ether that I need. Oh shoot, wait, would you look at that? Oh, a black crystal! Frickin' finally! Another one of those. But yeah, Zeke, sick character. Loved him from the very start, very quirky. Felt a little bit like the Ricky of the party. Look at those environments, man. Incredible stuff, truly. Part of the story that definitely also has interested me for quite a while is just how they always referred to the past, that being 500 years ago. But you never really had the full picture. but you even at one point saw Siren. So I was expecting that there's definitely one point in the story where they will probably go once again full on sci-fi, and I was really hoping for it. But in comparison to the definitive edition of Xenoblade, I felt like there was some things lacking. Like in my humble opinion, once again, I think the characters were lacking some extra animations and stuff. They looked a little bit like dolls to a degree when talking to each other. Of course, the only exception being during cutscenes. The cutscenes were crazy, but they were always crazy. I just got this feeling that it didn't live up to its fullest potential because the menus were also brutally slow, and it felt at point a little bit rough around the edges, just, you know. But then, of course, there was also the cutscene where Van Damme... Man, that cutscene was badass. Van Damme was so cool, ramming those mini scythes inside his own belly, and then going Super Saiyan, going 1v1 against Malos. That was cool. Something that I also have forgotten to mention is that I realized that Pyra had that... Well, it wasn't a necklace, but it was the Aegis core crystal on her chest. And I did realize that Alvis also had that crystal, so I was wondering how exactly that makes any sense. This would mean that Alvis is also an Aegis, but this seemed to be like a completely different place, not even connected to each other. So I definitely expected there to be some connection in some way or another. There was also something more going on with Jin. Like from the very start, he didn't seem to me like a villain. There was something more to him. And it was of course related to that girl that was frozen in ice. But this is just part of the Xenoblade experience where you're just having more and more questions regarding how things work and why they are the way they are. What has happened in the past? There was another Titan which was felled into the war, and it was Mithra for some reason being ultra powerful. Like something has happened there, right? But also going from more Ardain and Gormott, then later also Letheria, all of them absolutely beautiful and imaginative areas. Like they were really cool. Can you break him? Resist it. What a bunch of BS. Don't you dare. Well, let's go all out then. Yes. But go into a chain attack, come on. Go to the side and chain attack. Beautiful stuff. There was of course the thing with Amalthus, and I will say that Amalthus is a fantastic character. I would also say one of my favorites in the series. But as it usually is for these games, I was very, very sure that something is wrong with Indol. That they're doing something, you know, something that isn't right. Because everything with religious figures and areas, they're always bad in these games. So I was kind of very, very certain that this would eventually turn out to be the case, and well, guess what, that was the case. So I wasn't surprised. Oh shoot. Well, that sucks. Oh wait, he was also an attacker. Ah well. I had to check quite often my door if someone would walk in without me wanting that to happen. Because boy, you know, it's also the scene with all of the girls taking a hot bath at the... How was it called? The Oasis or something? That was a scene, okay? That was a scene. Oh man. And hey, when also the scene with Mia happened where she stood up and they said, Mia, you are... Hey, I'll be completely honest here with you. For a second I thought that she's a dude, so, you know, I said alright. Not bad. GG. Though I didn't want to make any conclusions. But hey, it turns out it was just her being a blade, so surprise, surprise. She would have been still the best girl. Please don't go with 100%. Please. There you go. Beautiful. Rex, me boy. Absolutely disgusting. As it should be. Torna's getting a little bit too much hate. Because at the end of the day, he is just that. He is a teenager. Hormones are crazy at this age. So who can blame him, really? And finding out that he's into some things. Let a teenager be a teenager. It's not that deep. But, you know, parts of the story, like I said before, felt very slow and even unnecessary, I would say. Like filler plot. Also with Lila, and I'll be honest, it didn't really have me interested. I don't know. I was just thinking, okay, come on now, we can proceed, right? By the way, I love Mikhail. Like, I'm not a fan of Petroka, like, at all. But Mikhail, I think, was a great guy. I liked him as a character. I mean, he is also one of those stereotypes with trying to get all of the girls and all. Thinking he's the most handsome dude in the entire existence on this universe. Also, who would have thought that a mysterious character like Adam would turn out to be the character you see in Torna. I haven't played Kingdom Hearts, but he looked like one of those characters who mean serious business. Can I make it? Actually, yep, easy. There you go. Accessory unlocked, very nice. Though it almost sounds like I meant it in a bad way, I love Adam. He reminds me a lot of Rex, which is probably intentional, but he seems to be someone who... He was afraid of Mithra's true power of Pneuma, but he still had a good heart, and wanted the best for everyone. So, you know, that's not. And this reminds me of Elden Ring a bit here. Just switching genres to being a jump and run game for some reason. I could have sworn I saw another thing shiny here though, wasn't there? Xenoblade 2 had a lot of very beautiful moments though. Like if you don't pay too much attention to those, yeah sure, more fan servicey kind of cutscenes. Like for example where Rex was standing with Pyra at the grave, or Pyra telling, how was her name? Auntie, let's just say Auntie. How she feels about it all and her just wanting to end it all. I mean, those are the moments that made Xenoblade Chronicles great. But this is also what I meant with the game feels quite dark and depressing at certain moments. Especially towards the end. With having also tragic characters like Jin, for example. And hey, also, Amalthus, man. He is also really, really tragic as a character. Yeah, when it comes to the characters, I think most of them at least were pretty cool characters. Interesting characters. Also, just the further you continue with the game, the more you learn from various cutscenes, like you saw then Jin and Laura, what he had to do to, I guess, still be alive, becoming a flesh eater. Just to not forget her, having to eat her heart. This is hardcore. Man, killing Hayes just like that. It's like, yeah, the bad guys, quote unquote, do it because of their own beliefs, you know? Because they genuinely believe that this world is a bad place and is taking advantage of the Blades. And him just wanting to end it all. Dude, I'm about to turn crazy. Where the hell is this stupid ether thingy? The ether channel. Oh! Oh! Wow. Wow. I have 4 now. But I remember when I entered in Indol into the building and saw everything, like from the texture work and just the lighting and everything. If you play this game in a higher resolution, you will realize just how impressive this game actually is. And I've shown it in one video that I did with JB Sphere Freak, where I showed it compared to the third game. Like, yeah, the third game is sharper and has less poppin', but the textures, for example, look significantly worse. Go after this one. Infinity Blade. Let's go! There you go. Also, Pyra forcing by her will alone Siren to focus on her, and then saying that if they don't stop, she will just annihilate herself. And then with the music, with the decision kicking in, and her being serious and almost like turning to... She's essentially melting almost. Because of the target ray alone. Man, that was that was kind of cool. That was so serious. But it would be more serious if I wouldn't be so distracted by her very, very short shorts being close to the camera from the back. Like, it takes a little bit away from the seriousness of the cutscene. Whoever did the design for Pyra, I think they overdone it just a little bit. That was a little bit too much. Once again, in my humble opinion. Oh, wait, this went over in that direction. Come on, Rex, you're so... Oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm so good. I remember then also Poppy's... And man, it can't get more anime than that transition to becoming more grown up. Becoming a teenager. And of course you have the maid outfit, right? Because obviously... I mean, he had them prepared from the very start, awkwardly staring. And then there was also one scene where Nia was sacrificing herself. No, the king, Niall, was sacrificing himself. And then Nia essentially showing her blade capabilities and healing capabilities. Yeah, you know. I didn't see this one coming, even though I knew that something was off there. So on one hand, I kind of was surprised at the reveal. And my wife became even more beautiful. But, you know, 2 ether cylinders? Nah. They're a cute couple. Glimmer and Nicole. I wonder, we will probably see them at least once, right? In the next game. Like, sure, they will start something completely new, the new saga, but I do believe we will still see some slight references, and really, I think at this point, just references to the previous games. And I wouldn't be mad. I thought this would be cool. Thank you very much, little Turkin. I was wondering when playing through Xenoblade 2 if the Aegis is pretty much just another Monado? I mean, if Alvis had a crystal like that, and he gave them the Monado in a way, right? And all of them took their powers from Alvis, who was an Aegis. But that means, I mean, Malos also had a... Man, that was a big reveal, by the way, when I saw Malos wielding the Monado and freaking hitting me with Monado arts. That was crazy. I thought, wow. So there, yeah, it just solidified even more that there is some connection here. I don't know how, but there is one. And nowadays, of course, the Aegis sword is technically just a Monado. And hey, Lucky 7 is also just a Monado. If something has a hole in it, it is a Monado. Considering that also Siren was a weapon of the... as Artifice, a weapon of the Aegis. I was curious if Alvis maybe had one of those weapons too. One of those artifices. Oh man, that's quite a shot. That's quite a beautiful shot. And then Jin's true form. And then, oh dude, them fighting also in light speed. That was, man, that... I wish we had more fights like those. Just ultra over the top anime like fights. Please. Like something you would see from power scaling videos where they just go all out. Ooh boy, another ether slide. What if they talked about the third Aegis sword and you having to search for it? I was expecting something absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that it was stored in Leftheria, it almost seems like it was made for Rex. But I got even more surprised when this bad boy just turned to dust. But Rex seemed to realize that, well, actually, we always had that sword. We just have to accept her fear or accept her feelings. We need to support her. We can carry her fear with her together. That was such a beautiful scene then when they meet up again with Malos. That scene kicked ass in general, and then unlocking the true power of the Aegis, going full on, like, freaking turning into a god himself there for a moment. That was a very cool battle sequence in general. And then of course after the scene happened, and they all dropped down into Moritha, that was one of the most shocking... that was on the same level of seeing the space station for the very first time in the first game. Because imagine you're playing a fantasy game with anime characters running around and those big titans and this visual art style, you know? And then you drop down underneath the cloud sea and there's there's America. Skyscrapers, streets, signs, interstate, what do I know? Just all those buildings you can also go into. I think there was also stuff written on those signs in those buildings. I was playing through this entire part with my mouth wide open. And boy, let me tell you, you think I was able to decide that quickly which hair, oh my lord, which kind of hair I wanted for Pyra and Pithra? I think I went with Mithra. The main reason for that was that I think Mithra in this case was the real deal, in a way. Like, she is the original persona, even though it would be actually Pneuma, no? One of the AI for the Trinity processors. Also, I gotta say, when Rex wanted to give up, I completely understood him. Honestly, if you have people that go in light speed, you can predict the future, but even then you weren't able to keep up. What on earth are you supposed to do if you lose that ability? You're even worse now. You can do even less now. I mean, I can't blame Rex that he wanted to give up. I completely understood that. But it actually... I love Poppy as a character from the very start. But after they all went after him, and then Poppy was, on a more joking side of things, wanted to punch the absolute crap out of him, she was actually the one... I don't know, it made me sad, saying that she looked up to Rex, and it hurts her that she sees Rex like that. Man, that was so sad. But it was probably the very reason why Rex decided after a while to, well, after this moment, to actually try again for her. I love Poppy, man. Oh, shoot. Boy, I'm about to do some frickin'... Yes. Exactly. Art unlock... Ooh. Oh, shoot. Oh, never mind. Yes! Man, I'm on a roll now. But yeah, then also approaching the world tree and realizing... Also, before that, when the Marzanis, I think that was the ship's name of Torna, approached, and Jin told them not to shoot. And then when they wanted to shoot anyway, him just going... Dude, that was such a cool scene where he just showed off his power by making this impulse around him. I said not to shoot. Man, that was cool. That was really cool. And then, of course, yeah, going through Torna, seeing all of those dead blades, and also seeing the map of the evolution of everything, how everything was created. All of it was just so cool. And the realization, of course, that the world tree is just a mechanical tower, just a big elevator, and that the green stuff that floats around it is really okay, I thought it's more ether. That was incredible. And this is where I realized, oh shoot. Yeah, this is actually all the science fiction part. We started way earlier with that. Incredible stuff, really. I do have to admit that this section was a little bit annoying in quite a few ways. But the music was great. And also that one place where you see all of those titans standing there. Very cool. But the connection that I instantly made with Moritha too was just the fact that Moritha must have been... like, it must have been related to the Klaus, right? The characters you see in the first game. Like, there has to be some connection there. Maybe this is where he came from, maybe? I think we haven't gotten that answer in that moment. But I was pretty sure that Moritha was connected to the scientists. Even though this would have been, like, the space elevator was a retcon. Because in the first game, the space station is just hovering like that, like a satellite. The promise between Mithra and Poppy was, by the way, also brutal. Poppy did not deserve that. So I guess I understand why. I think Nickel was the better defender, was he not? Well, I have two anyways. The other one will receive Glimmer. 30% damage, yes. The power. Boost speed of ally revive, wow. Okay, now I'm at 0. But that was a necessary upgrade. Okay, I'm back. I consumed some food. This video will be a long video, man. Depending on how much I will cut out, I'll have to look at it later, but it's definitely going to be longer than an hour, I think. I think all those scenes also with Malthus from the past. I mean, originally he was a good person, you know. He wanted the best for everything. Even though he may have seen a little bit shady because of also experiences with humans he did in the past. But I don't think he was a bad person. Like, I think he genuinely cared about the people. Especially with scenes like where he's standing at the cliff and saying, "Oh, architect, is this the world that you intended?" Like, there's just a lot of grief and sadness talking from him. And I mean, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Then also, later on, when you hunt down Malos and Jin, when here Mikhail is transforming the Marzanis to 1v1 the Titan of Indol. Like I said, Mikhail, he is a good dude. He was a great character. he also felt the same way as Amalthus did. But in the end, he decided to, well, be on the good side. Actually help our party. And I was really happy about that. He also showed that his voice actor is actually doing a good job too. His scream at the end. You really felt that scream. Going full force against the Titan. I had some good goulash right now. The goulash was very tasty. I could have sworn I've been here before. Black crystal. Another one. Is that... just like that? Oh, dude, I found that by accident. I'm glad that I found it. I thought there was something shiny. But then, of course, you're hunting down... you're hunting down Malus and Jin. And then, of course, the encounter with Jin. I don't know, the entire section just with the world tree and everything right before and after it. Very heavy. Everything about... Nah, this is mine. This is mine. Yeah. But if I have to touch upon Torna a bit... Laura is such a lovely character. And I'm so sad for Jin. Jin absolutely did not deserve any of that, man. He did not deserve any of that. But in general, I really liked... And this is, I think, something that Breath of the Wild and especially Tears of the Kingdom should have done. Like, you have so many memories and glimpses into the past. But the story is still happening in the now, you know? Like, the main story is really fleshed out. But you get even more in-depth and actual background with those memories. I really, really like that. Also with Zeke having this little small talk or just discussions here and there with Amalthus. That was really nice. Why is there so much black fog here? And then that little hug also between Jin and Malus. Like, that was one hell of a bromance. Regarding Malus, I mean, it's not really him. He was just influenced by Amalthus. Ending up the way he did. Which, yeah, sure, if only Rex would have met him sooner. Or would have actually resonated with him. Things would have been so much better for everyone, really. It's just unfortunate, really. What I found very sweet, though, even though deserved or not, that's a question I'll not ask, but when Amalthus died, and this hand reaching out, taking him back essentially, I think that was very cute. And I hope that he at the very end still was able to find his peace. Chapter 10, the very first cutscene. I think that at this point I had peaked in my life, unironically. This was one of the greatest cutscenes that I have ever experienced in my life. Just the absolute sheer of ultimate hype. I don't know how they're doing it. Man, just imagine. Just imagine what they are able to pull off on the next system. But yeah, the birth of a universe, man. Incredible cutscene, really. When they dropped the name Professor Klaus, there was this feeling of gratitude, just having to experience such an incredible story. This gratification of playing through this entire game, finally getting that one connection, realizing that this is technically all, well, not exactly one universe, but it came from the same universe. And that this universe of the first game is just a pocket dimension in a way, and that Klaus is actually Well, Zanza is just Klaus. But everything bad about Klaus that got sent to a new universe. Also the fact that they dropped Galea, the name. Affinity scene, was it regarding the White Eduardo? Oh no, it was Clifftop Bayan. Yeah. That was a jump scare. Man, I don't like spiders. I think they're disgusting. Not all of them. Like, the jumping spiders are quite cute. But anything else? Nah. I rather not. But then, also reaching Elysium for the first time. And seeing... Going back to the cutscene first. Seeing the conduit for the very first time. And them dropping the word... portal to different universes, essentially saying that there is a multiverse out there. Is that another one? Oh, that was absolute insane. And then I was thinking, okay, but that does mean that technically the older games, I was aware of the older games then already, Xenogears and Xenosaga, that they exist. But just that they exist. But that made me realize, okay, so that does mean that by technicality they are all canon, no? That they're just a different universe. And this is something that I was missing so badly. So badly in the Legend of Zelda games. And seeing that this game just goes full on ahead and connects them all, making one grand story. This was beautiful. This was beauty in the very word itself. What a happy lad I was. Like, the Legend of Zelda would never. They would have never connected these games. Look at those environments, man. This is... Man. I haven't played Future Redeemed in a while. For Switch, this is incredible. But yeah, seeing Elysium... when you get there, that it's all just desolate, dead. That was... I'll be honest, I didn't expect that. I genuinely did not expect that. That was a surprise to me. But then seeing the church, and then it goes once again into this science fiction part. Ooh. Would you look at that indeed? Thanks, Matthew. Oh, not so much as hoped. Oh well. I thought it said Diabolos there for a second. But also in combination with the music and seeing things like a... what was it? I think a bicycle? And then thinking it's a training equipment for war or something. I like the way how they twist the thought process of those characters of something so technically trivial. And also of course with Future Redeemed, when they reach the area with those streets, I guess regular American housings, that they say this is the wildest thing they have ever seen. It's such an interesting take on it all. Man, such great stuff. All of it. How can you not love these games? I don't understand, like... You don't have to care in the slightest about stories if you think that sucks. I have such deep respect for what they created. What they always wanted to create. And finally are able to create. And we're here back again. Ah, that, yes, of course. Yeah, sure. Whoa. Jump and run skills. And let me guess, he'll put me all the way back. You don't even give me the opportunity to go back. Frick me, man. But obviously, when Klaus was talking about his past and memories of this planet and everything, Martha being the place where he came from, that it was his doing when starting the experiment. Like, I fell in love with the series before, but after playing 2, man, I think this is where I realized, man, video games can be so much more. I already love video games so much, but now it's even like, this is what video games can be. This is what I wanted. This is everything I ever wanted out of a video game. This is perfect. I genuinely don't know what could top all of that. I will say though, I will definitely say that I wasn't a fan of the ending. The fact that Pyramithra split in 2 and he just has gotten 2 wives essentially. Like, I'm just honest with you here, I wasn't a fan of that. I thought it's just a little bit weird because they're both sisters, essentially. But just to follow it up right away so some people don't be mad at the end. The fact that they doubled down in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and he ended up with also Nia, this was absolute hilarious to me. This was so hilarious to me, in fact, that I thought, you know what? I actually respect that they just went for it even harder and said, you know what, screw you people. If you don't like it, we don't care. He actually has 3 wives. And then I thought, you know what? Good on you, Monolith. I respect this decision. And now I don't mind. We made some fantastic progress today, I'd say. But since I already mentioned Xenoblade 3, I guess we can switch over to Xenoblade 3. The thing is, well, I could talk about Torna, and I thought Torna was perfect. Like, fleshing out Mithra's character even more. And introducing Torna, what happened 500 years ago. The combat was even better. And I'll be honest, I wasn't a fan of them essentially forcing those quests onto you. So you're forced to do them. But at the same time, you really cared about those people. And people saying that Torna was unnecessary, I really disagree. I mean, honestly, then you can say video games are unnecessary in the first place. Why would you play FIFA? You can play football by yourself. Why do you play Tears of the Kingdom? You can just go outside and take some duct tape and just stick a stick on a stone together. There's your Tears of the Kingdom. I think people saying such things actually don't enjoy video games as a medium. They just play video games for the sake of wasting time. Because I really enjoyed the stories they told in Torna. And also, the final boss of Torna was probably... Well, now I wouldn't say it was the best boss fight in the entire series, but it was the second best boss fight, I think, after Future Redeemed. That boss fight with the 2 sirens... That was cinematic. That was cool. Genuinely, all about it was just so very cool, seeing them fighting in the back. And as you have also seen in the... Oh, come on now. You have to be kidding me. Sure, let me go down, around. I just really enjoyed all of it. And the ending crushed my soul like nothing else have crushed it before. Like, once again, characters that definitely did not deserve any of that. I just want to get rid of the enemy. There you go. Ew, what's this? Well, never mind, at least I was able to fight you here. But man, regarding Xenoblade 3's plot, I don't think I have ever watched more reaction videos to this game than any other playthrough. The good thing for me too was when I have gotten the first game, I really wanted a physical version of the second game, and it took quite a while until I found one for a reasonable price, which wasn't the case for Torna, and I had to buy this one digitally. But it was like, I think 7-8 months until I was able to get the second game. And then after I finished the second game, it took like a few months until Xenoblade 3 was announced. And just having those experiences back to back to back, honestly, that was incredible. I felt spoiled back then. I feel spoiled even now. Xenoblade 3 is just from the very start. You see just that they learned the mistakes from the previous games, and it's just the most polished experience from the very start. The gameplay is fun, there's actual good tutorials, the story is interesting from the very start, the visuals look great. Like, the image quality itself, the fact that it's trying to push for a full 1080p, this being the first game, the first Xenoblade game that actually goes for that, I almost fell in there again, that actually tries to go for the full HD. I've heard, by the way, about Xenoblade Cross, that it's actually the clearest game out of them all. That this game is actually really sharp. And also the clearest experience in handheld mode. So this has me really excited. I don't even know what to tell you regarding the third game and my experience with it, because honestly, I remember getting this game, getting to it, and I was just so perplexed because the visuals, just also the camera work and the cinematography of everything. This looks like you're watching a movie. They just upped it up by so much, also with the music and the sound design. Also with all the neat quality of life improvements they added. With having even a special section in the menu where you can train. If you're, for example, not good with chain attacks, right? If you're not good with chain attacks, don't worry about it. You can learn it by doing the tutorials again. How on earth am I supposed to get down there? You are a really big boy, aren't you? Maybe further over there? Oh, I think I know how. And also the entire party with Noah, Mio, Tyon, Senna, Lance, Uni. How can you create so many lovely characters? And it goes just beyond the main party too. Dude, I'm here for the very first time. I'm not sure if I've shown this area in the Out of Bounds video. Damn, this is beautiful. This is so imaginative too, with also the fireflies and everything. Wow. Right. Yeah, Xenoblade 3.
This is pretty rare, right?
Xenoblade 3. Honestly, if you have played this game, what am I supposed to tell you? You know just as well that this is peak fiction. I will say that it has peaked a bit too early, maybe with the chapter 5 and the beginning of chapter 6. That the stuff afterwards felt a little bit, I don't want to say weak, but not reaching the same heights, really. But as someone who, I really care about these stories, and I was seeing all of those references and parallels to the first two games, which is also the very reason why I did the connection videos in the first place. Because I just thought it was so cool how much attention... This isn't a Breath of the Wild situation, where they just put it in just for the sake of putting them in, you know? To get older fans thinking about who maybe there's a connection, even though there absolutely isn't, because the developers don't really care about that. Like, all of that had an actual meaning. And that was... Man, I had such a good time with this game. I had such a good time with this game. Honestly, these games... they increase my will to live, unironically. Those are some of those things I really look forward to. I created a thumbnail, by the way, 1.5 years ago too already for this, and I think I will still use it with the old Xenoblade 1 art and the Monado on it, with the Monado art. Even though I suppose this type of video is a way lower quality kind of video. But I hope if you're watching this and even you're still here right now, I hope you were entertained. I really hope that. And you shared the same sentiment with me regarding the series. This game has changed my way of thinking in regards to a lot of things in life. I was in a very, very bad spot before I started this series. But this game has this entire series has such a big emphasis of just taking things as they are, even though things can get really, really bad in life, and just move on. Yeah, I checked that one out. Shulk, you were disgustingly cool. But my way of thinking and just generally mentally, I'm in a more stable state now with this way of thinking about life. Even though it is sometimes hard, but you know, just moving on and seeing how things evolve. This is really great advice. Dude, I love this series so much. I wish I could share my love about video games just in general with someone else in real life. Even though people think weird of me. I don't know why people are so judgmental. Like, you're weird if I don't, for example, I don't, do you have the Champions League, right? Football. Or soccer, what's that? Oh, okay, or for requests, right. Okay, let's go take it down. So if you don't watch that, you're a weirdo. But if you join something else, you're even more of a weirdo. Because you're not like everyone else. Because everyone else likes to watch it. Or, you know, being interested for cars. But I personally, I don't care that much about cars. I love racing games. But it's not like I can race like that in real life. I love video games because I can do things I can't do in real life. And not the other way around. Come on. Ah. In any case, I think they just improved upon everything, and I just had constantly a good time with Xenoblade 3. Everything about it was just peak. The gameplay, the Ouroboros, the music, the cutscenes, Mobius D, the first... How this game is also way... It is more free to show off, like, brutal things. Like your friend's soldiers just getting crushed. Just killed in front of you. And then freaking Van Damme gets shot through his belly. And you see that hole. They always blur so you don't exactly see them. But also later on with Shania essentially, yeah, offing herself, also the same with Chris. I think there was even another one, no? It's like, man, the fact that they kept it at the teen rating is incredible. Kids these days, turn around, I'll do it for you. Anyone squeamish about blood can look the other way. This might get a wee bit graphic. Rex, man, I love this dude so much. Sick. Wakey wakey. What I also particularly loved about the third game is how much they gave so much more time for character development. Like, every character has received character development. Every character has received time to show who they are, what they think, what they feel, just who they are. And then later on how they changed. What everyone is struggling with. Oh dude, look at these areas, man. Look at these areas. This is a very nice area. I think if I had to say something about every game, is that Xenoblade 1 is the most epic game. Like, it is the grand adventure, traversing on massive titans with this grand, yeah, just this grand adventure. Then you have the second game, which is the most philosophical, the deepest game, I'd say, even the saddest game also. The third game is just most real experience. It is the closest to life. Everything with the interactions and the animations, the many themes of this game, all of it just feels very real. Also, I'm an idiot, it's front topple. And don't get me started on N. Like Harry McIntyre, I don't know how they do it. Having this kind of range and voice work for two completely, well, not completely different characters, but what he did with N, genuinely incredible. The fact that Harry McIntyre wasn't even nominated for Best Voice Actor, this is one of the most pathetic things I have seen from the Game Awards. And I'm not even mentioning it losing Best Soundtrack to God of War, with all due respect towards God of War. Like, sure, every award deserved, but Best Soundtrack, this is some of the biggest BS I have ever seen. Oh, this will be fun. Mysterious Fragment. This looks like a place where a massive boss should await me. Oh, like this one. But you're not a boss. I like your colors, though. And yes, of course, Xenoblade 3 is also the reason why I decided to do my part of essentially making people aware of the series. And I still can't believe to say it, but I think I did it. Like, is it crazy to say that the first trailer for the Xenoblade series has actually increased the awareness? Holy smokes. Increased the awareness of the series by a significant amount? Wait. Oh wait, I messed up. Well, I deserve that. Can you break him again? Ah well. Okay, sure. Because I think it is soon approaching 330,000 views. This is definitely one of the most watched pieces of Xenoblade content on the platform. And the second trailer has also reached 100,000 not too long ago. So I think it was a relatively significant impact. I'm just so happy that I can do my part, you know? Because like I said before, I think those games definitely deserve it in every way possible. And hey, I will continue doing that. I definitely intend to continue doing that. This game definitely deserves it. I mean, when it comes to Future Redeemed, like I said, and also Cross, my playthroughs are on the platform. If you'd ask me what is my favorite game in the series, I don't have a favorite one, because they're all peak. And I don't know why some people are so caught up in the fact that this is, in their opinion, a bad answer. Or a unsatisfying answer. They're all good. 1, 2, 3 and Cross. If you really want an answer though, I think I would say the first game, but simply for the fact that this was my first Xeno experience. This is the only reason though. So yeah, I can't deny that my life sure has changed since then. And this series has changed my life in not just in a video game way, but also just in a how I live my life and see things in my life way. So every time I see people talk about this as anime trash, it just hurts, man. This all comes from a place of ignorance. Like if you've told me, hey, play here, have you played Nier Automata, you know? I have the physical copy for the Switch. I still have to get into this game. But why would I say, nah, this looks like Gunner bait because I see so much not safe for work art for it? This game must be trash. Why would you say that? If I would have never played this game, I would just say so. Hey, I haven't played it, I wouldn't know. I don't know why so many people just are scared to admit that they don't know. It's so hard for so many people to say that they don't know. Yeah, I was crying at chapter 5. Like I never cried at a video game before. I had to see that the door was closed. I had to close the door. And I was in tears. And the ending destroyed me. The ending was painful, especially after seeing Monado Rex from Shulk. And also Poppy coming out of the shell there. I lost it. And then when they showed off the image, I felt conflicted. I was feeling so many emotions at the same time. What an absolute peak experience. Something that this game also has a lot improved compared to the other games is the sound design, like I said before. One thing that I don't like about this game, though, is the chain attacks. And what I mean by that is that I think it's a bit too slow. Xenoblade Cross in comparison is significantly better, even though I know this isn't a chain attack. It's just so much quicker and to the point. With doing damage and doing combos. You're just straight to the point, you know what you're doing. And I really like that. But I would have hoped things would be a bit quicker and faster here. But you can sometimes just sit multiple minutes deciding what to do. I'll try to go for Rex later. Now this following attack should be ridiculously power-wise. And now I'm about to destroy this one. Oh, this should be disgusting. Oh, watch. Oh, I almost did it. Come on, someone, launch. Ah, well. Good enough, I suppose. Even harder enemy. Let's go back to back. Gotthard, the Ethereal. Launches into me. Level 60, don't make me laugh. You're trash, dog. Or maybe, come on, just a little bit more. Ah. Yes. Could you break him? Yes. Launch him. Exactly, this is what I'm talking about. Exactly. Please revive me. Well, in a case like this one, reviving everything would have been nice. Well, I guess that's it. We're done. Ah, well. Well, like I said, I should have upgraded all of my characters. In any case, this is my story. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. In any case, I'll continue playing Future Redeemed for a while longer by myself here. Getting it to 100%. I think in the meantime, I should probably be playing Xenoblade Cross by the time this video already is online. But if not, I will play this game. So if you want, you can join me during this playthrough. Yeah, so I thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Have a good one, folks. Goodbye.
A most uncommon item.